Yes, good morning. It is Wednesday, and I have Randy Schild from the school district, right? Mm-hmm. And Connie Green here this morning from TBCC, and also an interloper.
Yeah, we brought along our new Vice President, Ross Tomlin, that we'll come back and do a whole interview with. So this is his first week. So he's just following me around. It's pretty nice.
Nothing like breaking the new guy in right
Yeah,
away.
I know.
Well, why not bring him right to this show? I mean, that makes sense, right?
Sure.
That does.
Yeah. Come on. Well, because then someday he gets to be in here.
He will. Yes.
So we're talking this morning about the partnerships between Tillamook School District and TBCC. What do we want to talk about that?
Well, we began this journey. I got here in September 2010, and the high school and the college worked together, and it wasn't bad. But we began to talk about the things that could make it better. Mm-hmm. And we started looking at our students in Tillamook, and we said, well, what could we do so that all of our students were really ready for the next step? And we ended up doing...
Once they graduate, right?
Once they graduate. Well, are you really ready for the next step? Or are you just glad to get out of high school? And one of the things we talked about early on was, for a lot of students, it was just getting out of high school. The next step wasn't necessarily thought about. I'm going to deal with that later. Get graduated, I'm going to deal with it later. By the spring of 2011, we had put together a study group. When we came back, we talked to community members, we talked to people inside the college, inside the high school, a group worked together and said, what if by 2015, and we changed it to 2016 later on, if every student could graduate from Tillamook High School with one career college course, so they'd know the next step.
That's cool.
Well, we didn't have new money. Randy shaking his head. We had what we had, and it was out of just being intentional about, so what would it take? So move the dial forward, and the graduation of 2016 in June, all but 11 students had one, if not more, career or college class, career being one of our career technical areas like ag, natural resources, business, whatever. So we got to that point. We were to the point we have enough things offered between us that we can get there. Well, it is really cool. And not every high school and college can say that they've touched and worked to make sure every kid has that chance to see they can do the next step. And that was our goal.
And our goal is that we need kids to understand that they can be successful at the next level.
Right.
At past high school, that they can go on to college, they can be successful in college classes. And a lot of times you need to introduce them to that in high school, or they walk out as graduates and
that's it.
That's it. They don't believe they can succeed, especially with first-generation college goers. Kids who their parents and their family, nobody in their family's gone to college. They don't expect to go to college unless somebody helps give them that dream and that hope.
Right.
And so we've really taken a concerted effort and worked very, very closely with Tillamook Bay Community College and continue to provide additional opportunities for different types of credits. And our ultimate goal is that, first of all, every student graduate from high school.
Right.
Yes.
And then past that, every student leaves high school with at least a credit or a class under their belt. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, that we get more and more students that leave high school with a one-year transfer degree, something that they can move on and use in a way to help get them to a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, or a CTE program.
Sure. So when we're talking about dual credit classes, these are classes they take at the high school that also count as college credit?
So there's lots of different ways that kids can take classes. One option, great option, is if we can offer college credits at the high school, so the kid never leaves the high school. They just have a little bit different curriculum that aligns with the college, and they can get credit. And we work with the college instructors, either college instructors coming to our school or our teachers working with a college instructor. We also have a lot of kids that we send to Tillamook Bay Community College, and they're on campus taking classes. We also have some career and technical ed courses, ag courses, things like that kids take on our campus, or a combination of both. We also have some Northwest Promise is a partnership that we have as well, to where some kids can take some online courses that could give them college credit that work between us as well. And so there's multiple directions and opportunities that a student can take, again, because we're trying to reach every single one.
Yeah.
So our boards meet once a year, and so we just recently in October did a board report for them. And, for the 15-16 academic year, there was 1,146 credits earned.
Wow.
Between Tillamook Bay working with our partner, Tillamook High School. That's just Tillamook High School. It's not the other two.
Right, right.
They were enrolled in 49 courses. And if we would have charged tuition, we charged nothing, or reduced tuition for expanded option, it would have been $107,000 plus parents would have put out somewhere that they're not putting out because we have the partnership. Right. So we're pretty excited about what we put together. It was also fun because this last year we also not only had all but 11 students get 1 credit, but we also had 1 student graduate from high school with a full associate's degree.
No way.
Right.
That is so cool.
So it's great that we can go from 1 to whether it's 15 or 30, but we actually went to the full degree. That ability for our community to let our students accelerate and learn at their pace and create the options, because neither Randy and I have large budgets compared to other school districts or community colleges, but if what we can work together on can create this capacity for our community, you've got the potential to keep on moving, and for your family and yourself, you've already saved some money for college. The other thing that happened this past year was when the legislature passed Oregon Promise. Mm-hmm. There's lots of promises in Oregon, but the Oregon Promise is about graduating seniors being able to have the first 2 years of college, at least 12 credits a term, paid for by the state. Mm-hmm. And so, that was exciting, stepping into that. And we had some students take us up on that, not all students. This year, it's still there, so we're pushing to get more students. And
that's in addition to what TBCC was already offering, right?
Correct.
Which was 2 years free, but there were certain requirements.
Right, you had to have a 3.0 to get the first class scholar, and so we had, I think in Tillamook County, we had about 50 students that started the Oregon Promise application and 25 completed. So our hope is all of us are working to make sure that those who start complete, because we had students who ended up coming to Tillamook that started the application and completed it, thus they didn't get it. They just didn't complete the application.
Gotcha.
We had students who thought...
the paperwork can be overwhelming, but you got to do it.
It can be, and when we've got people at the high school and the college willing to sit down with you, work you through it, so you don't have to do it by yourself. There's somebody there between the two of us that can help you. I think the other part of it is that we work with our students and our families in particular, is that there's a lot of families that they do want their kids to stay here, but they need to get other skills. There are individuals and kids that never want to be here. They're ready to move on. I'm being honest.
I was just having this conversation yesterday with a high schooler.
Right. And what we see is some of them do, but many of them come back. Mm-hmm. We had students who applied only to go to Oregon State, U of O, Portland State, pick whatever that university is. And then at the last minute came to TBCC. Well, Oregon Promise is only available at the community colleges. So they didn't apply for Oregon Promise, didn't do the extra paperwork.
Gotcha.
And they showed up, and so they still got other kinds of things, but they missed out. So we're encouraging people, seniors, parents, listen, grandparents, aunts and uncles. If you got someone graduating, apply. I don't care if you put down Tillamook Bay, put down Southwestern, put down a community college, so that if you change your mind, you have gotten the process. So, those are good things.
Point. I'm going to take a quick break. We're talking about the smoker. You want the real thing, quality beef right out of the smokehouse? Tillamook Country Smoker is pulling out a batch right now. Pioneers of a unique brand of beef jerky, Tillamook Country Smoker ships thousands of pounds throughout the world every day. Visit the retail store on Warren Street at Highway 101 in Bay City. They're open 9 to 5, 7 days a week. 2-foot-long pepperoni sticks for $1. Great deals on bags of jerky. With their commitment to quality, it's not done till it's done right. Their commitment to craft is a family tradition. No corners cut, no compromises. The job's done right at Tillamook Country Smoker, and be sure to visit them online at tcsjerky.com. So we're here talking with Randy Schild from the school district and Connie from TBCC. Mm-hmm. So you were just saying, we were talking about the Oregon Promise 2-year thing and making sure you apply for it, even if you don't think you're going to go to community college.
Yeah, it's just a great thing to do. And if you think about what we have in the high school, so we're working on creating some maps so high school students can see, but you could potentially, at Tillamook High School, between advanced placement, dual credit, and expanded options, you could, by making choices, you could get your first 45 credits completed without much effort. There's some, but you could
Right.
if that's what you want, you could do that. And whether it's an ag program or whether it's just a transfer program or whatever, and if you got Oregon Promise, if you've got that 45 credits, they won't pay for 2 more years. They'll pay for 1, but you would have gotten 1 year totally free
Right.
of college. If you get the Oregon Promise, you get the next year 12 credits, not 15 or 18, so you have to pay for a few, but you get 12 credits free. Think of the resources you saved for them if you want to go on and get a bachelor's degree or whatever. You are putting out only about 2 years worth of
Right.
tuition and fees, not 4 years. And I think of people who don't think they can do it. I think for most of our families, we can help them find a way because of the things that we have in place.
Right. If there's a will, there's a way.
And we're trying to open those doors so that kids and families understand what's out there and available and what their options are. And they have to work at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
these things aren't easy.
Right.
College classes aren't easy, especially with high school kids
Yeah.
involved. But what we found is that our high school kids can be very, very successful. You know, we spent a lot of time over the course of the last 10 years really focusing on getting kids to graduation. And there's a lot of our parents out there that are going, yeah, but what about my kid? He's high end, he's high achieving, he's moving on. What do you offer for him? And in a system our size, we can't offer, 1,000 choices.
Sure.
What we can offer are the right choices, and the right choices have been our connections with the colleges, with Tillamook Bay Community College in particular. And people here kind of take for granted what they have. I know Connie and I spend a lot of time all over this state, and what we have in Tillamook is pretty unique and pretty special. The partnerships that we've created here have been what have made a difference for kids. And I don't remember a time when I have gone to Connie and said, I think we need to do this, that she hasn't just said, we'll figure out how. I don't know how,
She's got a can-do attitude.
but we'll figure out how.
Yeah.
And that has led us down the road of many ventures that we thought, I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to figure it out.
Yep.
And as we look back, it was so fulfilling last year at graduation to look back and actually see that number of kids
Oh,
who
that's
had
great.
completed a course, a college course, and they can say, yeah, I can do this. That's a step that I don't know any other district in the state that's doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then for somebody to graduate with a full associate's along with their diploma, that's amazing. Well, and I think it's also, we're talking about the partnership between the school district and TBCC, but then TBCC also then has a partnership with OSU, right? Where you could potentially get your bachelor's through OSU.
Right.
Is that right? Yeah.
It is. And so colleges have a variety of partnerships, and they have a variety of articulation agreements, we call them, or as course to course. Here's how as a crosswalk. And we have what's called degree partnerships, which we've done with Oregon State in particular, where you're able to enroll and be a student both at Oregon State and Tillamook Bay Community College. You get advisors from both. And so this isn't against any, for those of you like U of O and Portland State, it's not about that. It's just that with Portland, with Oregon State, we've been able to do this degree partnership, and they're one of the colleges that really does it well. And so you're able to enroll in both. Well, when we did our Ag Natural Resource Program, our first degree program we brought up after we got accredited, we made sure that every credit in that program fit into the College of Ag. So every credit fits. There's nothing you lose. And then we said, okay, but there's things you could do online and never leave here. So you're able to, because of Oregon State has a large, extensive bachelor's degree program online, if we can let you start out as a student with them and us, you start out in ag, let's decide you want to go to business partway. We still have the advisors who still in degree partnership. They can get you into the business area as well. So there's this way to not only have a partnership and get great advising, but you maybe don't ever have to leave Tillamook and get your bachelor's degree. And we've opened it up so that our library and our resources, we try really hard in our computer labs. You don't have to be a Tillamook Bay Community College student to continue to use our resources if you're working on a bachelor's degree online with Oregon State. So we've tried really hard to make it, because it's how else you're going to do it. And for most of our community, it's a win-win. So we have individuals who are doing that now. That we had our first graduate last year from our Ag Natural Resource Program, got through in the 2 years.
Very cool.
First 2 years the program got through. And he's doing his online work with Oregon State Continuing. So exactly
awesome.
what we had designed is that for everybody now, some are want to get back to campus, some
Right.
want to, but at least there's a potential, and that potential gives everyone more options.
Right.
And it's the options, I think both Randy and I are always constantly looking at is what's the next option that helps the next group of individuals that don't feel they can do it, that they can do it. What do we have? What barrier do we need to get rid of? What creative thing do we need to put together in place so that they can get that next step?
I also think part of our job is to build the expectation, not just, we've done a good job at Tillamook High School of pushing kids to make 4 years of high school worth their time.
Sure.
There was a period of time in a lot of schools around the state where the senior year was a class or two, and that was it. And now Tillamook High School expects you as a senior to come to school the full day.
Yeah. I think I had 3 classes my senior year.
And if you're going to be there the full day, we better offer some things that are going to be valuable
Right.
and that we expect
Right.
you to take. And so I think our counselors and our administration there has done a really nice job of pushing kids to say, your senior year is the beginning of your next step.
Right. Right.
It's not the end and you're not going to coast, because one of the worst things you could possibly do is almost nothing your senior year and then get dropped into a harder system in
Right,
college
sure.
the following year. That's a bad
Rude
plan.
awakening.
Yeah, that's just a bad plan.
Right.
And so it's been something that we've really worked and focused on because we believe that kids need that opportunity, and especially here where we're a community that doesn't have a whole huge amount of
Sure.
higher ed educated adults. And it's pretty easy to just go, oh, my mom and dad did fine. My dad, he went to one term of college and he was CEO of Tillamook Cheese. That wouldn't happen again now.
Right. Right.
The times are different.
Yep.
And so we are needing to prepare these kids in every way possible, whether it's trade schools or community college or 4-year university, whatever that might be.
Randy and I have been working on how do we do that, and we've got an amazing community, but we also have a community that isn't as highly educated as other communities. There was some research that was done about Oregon about what happens to someone from the sophomore class of high school class of 2003 and what happens 9 years later. And one of the things when you look at just Tillamook County and that point of view is there's about, at the end of high school, there was 21%. This was started in 2003, so it would have been those who didn't go on, but 21% of them didn't go on to get a high school diploma. And 9 years later, 20% of them didn't even get a GED and continue, larger than the state average. So for both of us, our commitment has been, how do we keep you in school so we don't add to that number, that
Right.
2003 is not repeated in 2016-17.
Yep.
And for the adults that are currently working, how do we help you pick up that next skill set? You may not need a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree, but what's the skill set you need as our economy changes? How do we help you get to the skill set you need? So if we can get the idea of the next step, and the high school students and the middle school students and the elementary students, that there is something out there as a next step. And I love Randy's example with his dad, because his dad, amazing guy. You can't repeat that again.
Right.
So how to help our kids have the step that they do need so they could become the next CEO, because we've positioned them to do that.
Right. I'm going to take a quick break, but when we come back, can we talk about some of, what's the types of classes, what the subjects are that we can do the dual credit with?
Right.
Let's see. Many business owners may be eligible to write off 100% of the purchase cost of their next new Ford. Section 179 is the IRS tax code allowing you to buy qualifying Ford vehicles and deduct the purchase price, including any amount financed, from gross taxable income if purchased before December 31st. You'll want to talk to your tax professional, and then you'll want to talk to Tillamook Ford on the friendly corners of 5th and 7th in downtown Tillamook. Tillamook Motor Company, a better place to do business. So we're talking to Randy Schild, Superintendent of Tillamook School District, and Connie Green. Are you director? What is your actual title?
It's called president,
President.
but we can call it anything. It works.
I like president.
We
It's a
salute
good
her.
one. So, yeah, she come in.
Yeah, I
Hand
know
over
about
there.
that,
Of TBCC. And so we've been talking today about the dual credit and how the high school helps students and the college can help students take both college credit and high school credit at the same time. So what are some of those, some of the more popular classes that you see kids taking in those dual credit
So you really have courses that what we call career and technical ed CTE courses. Those courses could be ag, natural resources. We offer health occupations, hospitality and tourism. We've got a group there, and then you have the academic side as well. The courses that we hope are core courses that can get
general
kids,
education.
that can get kids into. Actually get them out of some classes at the next level.
Because everybody has to take a math. Every degree requires some type of math and writing. And
so you have English, communication, so writing 121, economics, and we're trying to open the door to many other courses as well.
Yeah. So the senior level civics economics course, we worked together to make sure that became a dual credit course.
Cool.
So you have to take it for high school, but can we make sure that it's the college level, so you're doing it for both? Not all students do it at the same level, but we made it possible. So we tried to overlap where we could things that you had to have for a high school degree. Could we also make it the college level amount so you could be in that class, and some of them might be doing just the high school course, but I watched as it started out being kind of split classes, slowly they've gotten more and more and more doing the college level to assist them to get that next step.
Right.
And again, it's, for a lot of kids, they're looking at it as not only my foot in the door, but just the cost difference. When you talk about how much it costs to send a kid off to college now, with tuition, with room and board, with books and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, meals and
It's huge, and we have kids coming out, especially new teachers, for example, that are been through 5 years of college and have $100,000 worth of debt, and as first-year teachers are making $35,000 a year. That's going to be a tough road.
Yeah.
And so if you can minimize the cost of that degree by taking care of
Absolutely.
some of it in partnerships early and through community colleges, which is your most affordable college there is, then it's going to be good for you in the long run as well.
Right.
There's many adults out there, a number of people in our system that will carry their education loans for most of their working careers.
Yikes. Yep. I know this was the conversation. It's funny that I wasn't even remembering that you guys were coming in today, but the conversation I had with a high school senior yesterday was she was talking about she's going to go to TBCC for 2 years. And I said, it's really smart because you can get your general education classes out of the way. You stay at home. She said, yeah, my dad said that I could stay here if I was going to go to college. If I was going to go to TBCC, I could stay at home. And so, I mean, the cost between a general ed class in a community college compared to a four-year university, I don't know the difference, but I assume it's more.
Yeah. So it depends on whether you're talking about OIT or U of O, or whether you're talking about Willamette or Linfield or whatever. But usually you can assume that you're going to save at least 50% at your community college compared to someone else, And it could be more, it could be a little bit less depending, but it does save you a resource. And what I love about Oregon, I believe, is we have, for the 50-some years Oregon community colleges have existed, almost about every 10 years we've had to prove to the university system that our students do equal to or better than the ones that start there. And every study has shown that community college students do equal to or better than if you start a university. And part of it has to do with we have smaller classes. We get to know you. And so when you're not doing something, it's kind of like, what's going on in your life, Randy? Let's get this back together. Because you don't get lost in a group of 20 or 25.
Right.
You get to the universities and those first term
huge
classes.
lecture halls with hundreds of kids.
Right. So that's a difference. I think the other difference in community colleges is the whole focus is on teaching and learning. Where a university, some of it's teaching and learning, but also they have another whole mission. They have a whole mission of research. And so sometimes you end up with individuals who are passionate about the research, but they have to teach one or two of these classes in the way. So it is different. So I think that's why we do equal to or better than, is because we've got that different mission.
Right.
But
I think Connie makes a good point on class size. I don't know how many kids that I've taught over the course of the years that are really good students, but all of a sudden walk into a class at Oregon State with 400, 500 other kids who they're in a class the size of our school. And, and that's a struggle, and nobody checks to see if they're coming to class, and nobody, they have a midterm.
They're
and
accountable to themselves.
It is a culture shock, and if we can kind of nurture kids through that while they're still in high school, the first time at least, that will not be near severe a culture shock when they get to the next level.
You know, one of the things we talked about, which got to be humorous in our group meetings, was about a use of a syllabus. So in college, you have a syllabus that says, here's how many points, here's when things are due, and you have to follow it, manage it.
Right.
Well, in high school, you don't have a syllabus. Someone reminds you it's due, whatever, which is all fine. But the reality is when you go from someone reminding you and you all know each other in a small setting, you get to a large setting, and here's the syllabus, and you don't get extra points. You know, there's not makeup homework. And oh, by the way, all these dates are set. You don't get to negotiate them. The instructor doesn't change them so even the syllabus idea of a college, when we had our conversations with faculty and teachers talking together, it was like, oh, so how do I help people be more responsible themselves? Because I'm used to helping them get through. Well, I need to help them, but I need to pass on that responsibility. And it sounds so simple, but it was a big. It took many conversations around that of what was appropriate. So
well, and it just shows the differences in our system. And remember that as a high school, our primary responsibility is to help kids learn the information they need in order to graduate. That's our first and foremost purpose. We've done a pretty good job of that, although, you know, you keep hearing in the state about the number of kids that don't graduate in Oregon and so forth. Tillamook has consistently been 10 to 12% above the state average, and we've offered enough programs that any kid who wants to work at it, I think, can make it through. What you don't normally hear, though, is there's kids around this state and in our community who end up losing interest in high school because they don't see the value and they don't see what it's going to lead to.
They're not connected.
Part of what we're doing in this partnership with the community college is giving every kid an opportunity to see a future, see a reason to continue to succeed here, and what that next step is, whether it's career in tech or whether it's college related. And that's helped us as well. And so we feel like we've been successful, and it will continue to get better.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, winter term registration begins on Monday for those
those
adults out there and others and students who are there. Registration begins on Monday, which is be great for winter. And if you haven't applied for federal financial aid, you still can. So it may not come until the second or third week of the term, but please, if you're thinking about coming for winter term, which actually begins on January 9th, apply now. Get your financial aid going, and
if you don't
get
apply,
a plan.
You can't be selected.
Right.
So you're never going to win if you don't apply. We are out of time. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll have hospice here talking about their Light Up a Life event. Don't forget senior meals 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also noon every weekday at the Kayawanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Tonight, the Powered by Teen Club is hosting a ham dinner at Tillamook High School cafeteria from 5 to 7. Proceeds will help cover expenses incurred attending the presidential inauguration in January 2017. A silent auction will also be held at the same time. Cost is $10 per person or $30 per family. Friday at 6 and Saturday at 2, TAPA is holding auditions for the comedy thriller A Sting in the Tail. They are looking for 3 males, 2 females of varying ages to act in this production. Audition packets can be acquired by emailing info@tillamooktheater.com. Saturday from 9 to 5, Tillamook High School's SAFE program will be holding their annual holiday bazaar at the high school cafeteria. Along with vendors, there will be concessions available. Also on Saturday from 12 to 3, United Paws is holding an adopt-a-thon at 1180 North Main, which is the old Evergreen Realty building that is just north of where Kinder's Kitchen used to be, but now it's a Mexican restaurant. I know, trying to where exactly is that? Make sure you turn in an adoption application while you're there if you're looking to add a new member to your family. Saturday and Sunday, the City of Tillamook is holding a fall yard debris cleanup in front of City Hall. Cleanup is for leaves and yard debris only. From 9 to 1 on Saturday, there will be city workers assisting. And on Sunday, it's available all day, but there's no city help. You can call 842-2472 with questions. And then Monday is the deadline to enter in the Tillamook Holiday Light Parade. Get your entry forms for this free event online at TillamookholiDayLightParade.com or at Diamond Art Jewelers. Dress up your car, your kids, your dog. We want to see you get creative. It doesn't have to be Christmas lights. It could be glow sticks or anything else that lights up. Thanks again, Randy and Connie and Ross, for interloping over there and just viewing.
Our pleasure.
And thank you, Tillamook, for listening.